Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Proma and today I'm going to be trying to make pizza, making dinner for my family, and I thought pizza was a really simple, fun, easy thing to do. Might not be once I start. I've made pizza a few times, but that was with the help of my wonderful mom. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do it on my own today, and we will see where that gets us. Also making some side dishes, but I don't know if I'll film it. We'll see later on the video, so let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to my kitchen, or our kitchen, or my mom's kitchen. Lots of things we could call this place. So, as mentioned before, we're making pizza. So let's go through the ingredients. You are going to need a packet of active dry yeast. Also, I'm looking off to the side because I am reading a recipe which will be linked below. So, packet of yeast, 1 teaspoon sugar, which I've put into this bowl for later purposes, 1 1/4 cup of warm water, which I have not gotten yet, but I will. You're gonna need 1/4 canola oil, which is in this lovely bottle. This is not 1/4, this is more than 1/4, but it will be measured to 1/4. You're also going to need 1 teaspoon salt, which I have not gotten yet, but I will later. You're also going to need 3.5 cups of all-purpose flour, which is in this bowl. And whatever toppings you may desire, I'm going to be using just cheese and chicken and mushrooms. Also, if you are lucky enough to have your own basil plant, I would recommend using that. Also, if you are lucky enough to have your own tomatoes as well, these are fresh from our garden. They're very beautiful. We're going to be using those as well. And some store-bought, what's this called? Marinara sauce, because I didn't feel like making my own. And also because I don't have enough tomatoes to make our own. So, let's get started. Okay, so I have mixed in the sugar, yeast, and water all together, and it has risen beautifully. I let it sit for around 5 to 7 minutes. And now we're gonna start mixing in our oil and salt. Something to keep in mind, I think it's really helpful to have one of these measuring cup thingies, so I would recommend having one of those as well. I forgot to mention it. But yeah, just mix in the 1/4 cups oil. So mix in the 1/4 cup oil into your yeast mixture and put in salt as much as you desire. I'm just gonna eyeball it because I don't have the patience. And if it's bad, it's bad. And that's fine. Okay, so now that you've mixed in your oil and everything else into the yeast, we're gonna start mixing in the flour as well. So you just wanna start by taking 1 cup of flour and adding it in there. And you're gonna mix it in. I'm gonna use this fork because so about now, I think it's time to start mixing in with our hands, getting down and dirty, but not really because we all know we washed our hands earlier. At this point, you're gonna wanna take out your dough once it's formed into its own little blob and take it out and start kneading it on a more flat surface rather than a bowl. It can be kind of hard to properly knead it in such a small bowl. So now that you have your dough into a nice little ball and it's very not as sticky anymore, you're gonna take the bowl that I mentioned before. If you have extra bowls, you can use those, but I didn't want to dirty up as many bowls. So you're gonna cover it a little bit in oil, which if I could get this open, great. So just taking a little bit of canola oil to grease it up. I'm just gonna use my hands to make it nice and greasy. So now we're gonna put in our dough. Beautiful. And we're gonna turn it a little bit so it gets fully covered in the oil. And now we're gonna cover it. I'm gonna cover it for around 1 to 2 hours, but minimum you should cover it for at least 45 minutes and place in a warm area. And I will be back. So while we're waiting for our dough to rise, I'm gonna be working on some side dishes. We're planning on making some stuffed mushrooms, so for that I'm going to be taking some garlic and mincing it. I'm also going to be adding the garlic as kind of a topping on the pizza as well, so that's why we're doing this. So we're also making stuffed mushrooms as our side, and what we're doing with this is we scrape the insides out, the filling, and we're going to be making more filling by adding chicken and cheese and breadcrumbs to it to make it really nice and crunchy, and we're going to just stuff it with this. We're going to place this in our toaster oven for around 20 minutes at 450 degrees. And it'll be nice and crispy. So now we have 3 pieces of chicken breast, and I'm gonna be making chicken tenders with one, chicken topping for the pizza with the other, and finally stuffing for the mushroom. So I'm gonna start with the tenders first. You wanna cut away the white parts, which is what my mom told me. She's here with me in the kitchen. She just doesn't wanna talk. Hi, Mommy. So we're cutting away the gross parts, and now we're just gonna cut in long strips in order to make the tenders. I'll be showing the, what's it called? The marination later. The chicken tenders. I'll place that aside for now. So now we're gonna do the chicken toppings, and that's just gonna be chunks basically, so do that however you'd like. So taking the final piece, chicken breast. I feel like there's not enough chicken tenders, so I'm going to be making a couple of more chicken tenders and then cutting the rest for the mushroom stuffing. But we have a lot of chicken topping right now anyways, so we might use some for the mushroom from there too. We're cutting away the white parts. Also, I want to mention that I did clean this cutting board again before I started cutting the chicken, and I will clean it again right after I cut the chicken. Remember, cleanliness is super important. Don't be gross. And also because diseases can spread. Now I'm going to cut the rest for the mushroom stuffing. You're gonna want to make it small. It's gonna be more chunky and tiny. So we're gonna fry these chicken chunks, and I don't think, are we marinating these? We're not marinating these, so yeah, we're just gonna fry it and season it as you would. Got some cheese for my baby. Oh no, that's too much cheese for you. Which one do you like better? Do you like mozzarella? Oh wow, okay. Let's bring you guys a little closer. There he is, the little boy. Wow, look at him go. Look how fat he is. Little chubby, little monster. Oh, he's cleaning himself. It's very important. Note to you guys too. Where are you going, bud? Oh, you want to come here? Okay. He wanted to say hi. Hi. So these are the two side dishes. This is the stuffed mushroom. Inside it is the mushroom filling, like the mushroom insides, chicken, garlic. We sprinkled some cheese on there, mozzarella cheese, and breadcrumbs, which you can make yourself, but we chose to buy it because we use it pretty often. So we're gonna leave that to the side. We're gonna cook this at 450 degrees for 20 minutes. This is the chicken tenders, and it's been marinated in Greek yogurt, garlic, salt, chicken tandoori masala, and chili powder, which is a necessity for us because we love spice, but it's not necessary for the recipe if you don't want it. So we're gonna also leave this to the side, and we're gonna cook this later. Okay. So it has been 4 hours since the dough has been set, and it has risen quite a bit. So this recipe is actually for 2 pizzas. So I'm just gonna take this and split it into 2 and press it into this pan, and I'm gonna leave it aside for a little bit so it can rise a little bit more, just to give it that extra something. Ooh, look at that stretch. That's nice. Cut this into halves. It's a little stickier than I thought it would be, but that's okay. So I'm gonna oil this up a little bit so it's easier to get unstuck later on. So just gonna boop. I'm also gonna put flour on here so I know that it will get off. That's okay. We're going to put that off to the side. So once we cut this in half, keep the rest for another time. We're going to want to knead this a little bit more. Now we're going to spread it onto our pizza pan. This is, I believe, 12 inches, but I don't know. So my mom helped me spread this out because I couldn't do it that well by myself. So now that it's been spread out, we're gonna let it sit for around 30 minutes so it can rise a little bit more. And then we're gonna put in the oven at 450 degrees for just 2 to 3 minutes to let it rise and be a little crispy. Not really crispy, but just so it bakes better when we put on toppings and salsa and all that. So we're putting this to the side for now. Now we're gonna work on the toppings. I personally have mushrooms and my chicken already, but I also want to add tomatoes and bell peppers as well as some basil. So I'm gonna cut that. So now we have all of our toppings as well as the garlic. And once we start actually making the pizza or putting it together, we're gonna top it all with this. Hello and welcome to here again. You've been here a couple of times now. So what we're doing now is, since we have our pizza dough ready, we're gonna start topping it basically. So first I'm gonna take some of the minced garlic and just kind of, just because I don't really like chewing garlic, I just don't really enjoy the feeling of it, but I really love the smell and taste of it. I'm just gonna put it in before I put on the sauce. So just gonna get all of that in there. Hopefully y'all can see it. Spread that all out. It's a little damp here for some reason, don't know why, but anyways, now we're putting on the sauce. I'm sure you can make your own, like, I mean, I know you can make your own, there's like a billion recipes out there, but I'm personally lazy, and honestly, this took the entire day for me. It's a quick recipe, it's just filming and also doing things in between. Playing with Bo, obviously priority number one, so I just didn't feel like making the sauce, plus I didn't really have tomatoes around. Lather on that sweet, sauce. Now I'm just going to take the cheeses. This is mozzarella, classic cheese. And the Monterey Jack. And something else that I forgot. Colby and Monterey Jack. And yes, my hands are in fact clean, so thank you. So now we're gonna do our toppings. This is all the mushrooms. Ooh, it's very mushroomy. This ain't a pizza hut, so we can just go ham on the mushrooms and chicken since we're making it our own. That's the benefit of cooking for yourself. You can just do whatever you want. Who's gonna tell you you can't, you know? So, it's a lot of mushrooms. Now we're doing the chicken. I don't know if it's framed, so here's the chicken. Oh, and I've preheated my oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have put the stuffed mushrooms in there as well, so while we're waiting while we're doing this, we can wait for that to actually, you know, get all nice and crispy and cooked. Now we're putting on the tomatoes, fresh from the garden, which is always super nice. Now bell peppers. This is really for my dad because I'm not the biggest bell pepper fan, so this is just gonna be on one side, so I don't have to eat it. Again, the benefits of making your own pizza. Now the basil, it's been dried, so we can now just put it anywhere we want. Pull it apart if you need to, if the cutting wasn't as good as you thought. It's actually not too bad. Now I'm going to top this off with some more cheese, which you guys might think is a little bit overkill, but it's fine. The oven should be preheated right about now. My dad might be slightly pissed off at the amount of cheese I'm putting on, but this is not his pizza, it is mine that I'm making for the family that he can deal with it. We eat rice literally every single day. I think we can handle pizza for one night, you know? I feel like that's a pretty hefty amount of cheese. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm gonna just put salt over the whole thing just because you never know. Oh, there it is. That's the oven telling me it's ready to put in. So I think we're done here. This looks heavy. It feels heavy. It's quite amazing in my opinion. So I'm gonna put this in the oven and we will see you back soon. So the pizza's done. It looks really, really good. I'm so excited. I'm gonna take out took out the mushrooms as well. I'm gonna go get a nice platter for this dress on. I said platter, but I meant like one of these mat thingies. So there it is. Beautiful. It looks incredibly delicious, honestly. So that's all for this video. I hope you guys were able to make the best pizza ever, or the best stuffed mushroom ever, whichever one, or both, who knows. So yeah, that's about it. Bye!